Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Edric Show. I am your host, Edric Jerome. This is the place for intelligent conversation with interesting people. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell, and you'll get notified of when I post content each and every week. Very special guest. My guest is Brigette LeBlanc. She is the president and CEO of the San Francisco African American Chamber of Commerce and the first woman to hold this leadership position. As the owner of LeBlanc and Associates, Brigette is an accomplished global event and meeting specialist, and she brings over 30 years of professional entrepreneurial experience to her role. She is a native San Franciscan, and her extensive career includes serving as the first Black woman event manager at San Francisco City Hall. Brigette has consistently demonstrated powerful leadership in curating impactful events and fostering community connections. Brigette, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so
No,
much.
I've been hunting you down for a while, try to get you on the show. So I'm glad you're here. So I'm glad we can have this
Yes, the first
conversation.
100 days, the first 100 days had me going, I tell you. So now I'm on the second phase, the next 100 days.
I can imagine. So maybe we can get you to we can maybe take a little deep breath on this interview. We'll be a little relaxed and just
Yes,
get to know who you are. So let's get
yeah.
into it. I do want to start with your journey to becoming the president and CEO of the San Francisco African American Chamber of Commerce. Tell me about the journey, and did you ever envision that you'd be sitting in this role?
First of all, the answer to that question is no. And number two, it has been a journey. I started off with me being an event planner for a Juneteenth event for the chamber. I believe it was back in 2009. At that particular time, there was a board member, Matt Thomas, who unfortunately has gone on to heaven, who became one of the best presidents that the organization has. Not the only, but one of the best. And he actually mentored me. There was a position that was available to sit on the board, but it was a secretary position. So the board were all men, and then there was a secretary position. And so I said, well, why are you selecting me? Is it because I'm a woman to sit in this position? He says, no, I'm selecting you because you need to be in this position so you can understand how the organization runs, understand the politics, and learn all the key players. And he did not disappoint. I sat in that role for some time and had various roles as doing programs and events and the bylaw committee and just different things. And I was then elected the first woman vice chair of the board, which would be the second in command of the entire organization. And I was appointed to that position by our chair, which is Frederick Jordan, who's a renowned engineer, who's globally as well. And I remember meeting Fred many years ago, and I just told him, I said, Fred, why aren't there more women involved in this organization? And so he just kind of laughed. And Dr. Churchill at the time was like, Fred, we need to watch her. She's going places. She's going to take the chamber where we need to go. I still had no clue. We had an executive director, Ruth Mays, who just pulled me in her office one day and she says, you're going to be the president and CEO of this organization. And I was like, there's no way I can even handle that responsibility. I'm like, there's no way. And so, as I sat in the role as the first vice chair of the board, I had to make a decision. Will I step up and become the first chairwoman, or will I step down and reinnovate this organization? And so, I've never picked an easy task. And I decided that it was time for me to step down. And it wasn't about being the first woman this and this, that, the other. It was about bringing life and breathing fresh air into this organization and making it be what it was destined to be, and that is greatness and the Black voice for San Francisco.
Um, One of the things that happens when there's a leadership change is the new leader um, probably takes some of what the old vision was, but also wants to impart their own vision and their own view of where the direction that the chamber should go. So, what is your vision for the chamber? And with that, what are some of the most pressing issues that you see facing Black businesses in San Francisco?
Well, my vision is very similar to Matt Thomas's vision, who was the previous, before this last president that we had, and that is to collaborate and not to be afraid to speak out. A lot of times, San Francisco is not an easy business, an easy city for Black folks to do business. It is very political. You have some construction companies that have bullied a lot of our members, and they're not wanting to speak out. And I am a child of God, and I do not fear man. And I feel that if somebody's being unfair or being treated unfairly, that someone has to speak out. As long as you bring the receipts, there's nothing that they can do. I didn't realize how political this position was, but it is extremely political as well. And my background and training to actually run for a political office has actually helped me navigate that. So my vision is to collaborate. It is to bring fresh new ideas. I am making sure that I'm talking to organizations that can bring newness and fresh ideas and just be innovative and ready to work and ready to pull up their sleeves, and who are also intelligent and who are also micro and small businesses. We have to be a voice. I am okay for different organizations that want to push Black business, but there are times when we need to come together and speak as one voice because we're stronger in that voice. My vision is to also make sure that we raise enough money and that we have enough money in our budget so I can have a staff of anywhere from 5 to 7 people. I am staff challenged as we speak, and that is key. I cannot take us where we need to go unless I have the staff that's going to help me get there. Also, growing the board. We need to have more board members. While I'm appreciative of the board members that we do have, we need to step it up. We need to up the ante. We need more board members that can bring a variety of skills and energy and relatability, all of those things that are needed in order to make sure that we are a vital entity. The other thing that I'm doing is making sure that we're collaborating with other strong Black organizations in the city of San Francisco. That would be the NAACP, who now has a new president, Dr. Jonathan Butler, and also San Francisco Black Wall Street. I have watched this organization. I love how they gambilize. They bring the people out. They're young, they're innovative, and they are purposeful. And so, with the three organizations working together, although our missions may be somewhat different, it's about unification. And those are some of the things that I'm very passionate about.
The last part of your answer triggered something to me, a question about, you know, typically chambers of commerce were, for the most part, somewhat more conservative, not always, but they've
Mhm.
been a little bit more straight and narrow.
Mhm.
Whereas now you have entrepreneurs who are on, social media, and there's a variety of
Mhm.
different types of entrepreneurs. How do you bridge those folks together, where someone who may have been, a traditional type of business, but now you've got all types of businesses for, especially for young Black entrepreneurs? How do you bridge those two camps if there is a divide?
There isn't a divide. I think it's just, introducing new ideas, right? And so there's like a generation of how business was done before, when my dad had his own business, when my relatives had their own business, and how we do business now. But there's knowledge in both of these areas. So having those conversations, learning how we can work together, not being afraid of saying, I'm not really good at technology, but I'm good at writing, whatever the case may be. And it's pretty much like storytelling. If the younger businesses will listen to or learn from the businesses that have been around and vice versa, we can build a stronger union. There's not time for division. Our current situation does not allow that or should not permit that, but we need to make sure that we can work together and that we can learn from each other. And I think that is key. We all have something to learn from our experiences.
You touched upon the politics, and the way I want to ask this question is kind of twofold. From someone outside living in, I'm in Solano County. San Francisco has undergone a lot of economic changes, say, over the last 10,
Mhm.
15 years. The technology, and it's priced a lot of people out, and then, the whole notion of tech bros and all that stuff. But you've also just recently had a major political change in the election of the new mayor, Daniel Lurie. How are some of those concepts, the perception of San Francisco being this tech heavy type of environment, and now with this new political leadership, how are you carving out the way for the African American Chamber of Commerce?
So I like to write letters. I like to make sure I have receipts. And when I have a letter and receipts, then I do not have a problem having a meeting. I think what has happened is that the San Francisco African American Chamber of Commerce, we now have access to the mayor's office. We now have access, and that is very important being a Chamber of Commerce. We have not always had access. Historically, we've had access, but we haven't had access with the last administration. And so now being able to have that access is something that is very, very important to the chamber. The mayor has a very hard job. My job is hard. And I'm new in this position, and his job is hard because he's new in the position. But if you lead with integrity, if you lead with passion, and if you admit that there's some mistakes that you're made, but you're here to try to make the city better, or I'm here to try to make the organization better, you're open to constructive criticism. He's not gonna always get it right. I'm not gonna always get it right. But at the end of the day, there are hard decisions that he has to make. They may not be favorable. So I'm suggesting to people is that you read, you compare, and then that way you can make an educated decision on how you want to move forward and how you want to support the mayor. San Francisco is changing. Unfortunately, we are not the vibrant city that we used to be. We have lost tourism dollars. We have vacant storefronts, but there are solutions. Whenever there is a problem presented, there are solutions. So if in fact we can all work with the mayor and be a part of the solution, then the city will continue to do what it needs to grow. It will foster more tourists, it will bring people back, but we have to work together. And he has a lot of responsibilities. And giving kudos to our former mayor, London Breed, who was the first Black woman mayor of San Francisco. Sister, I clap my hands and I applaud you. Your job was not easy, but I'm wishing you well. And I know that being a native of San Francisco, you are still concerned about our beloved city. So, with that being said, I just feel that there's work to be done. Every city has their ups and downs, but San Francisco is an internationally known city. Everybody wants to come to San Francisco. Now, they may complain about the traffic and the parking, but they're over here because this is where the money is and this is where the major decisions are made.
To that point about economics, how would you describe the economic climate now for businesses in general, but Black businesses specifically? Given that, like you mentioned, there's vacancies, there's a lot going on. Interest rates are higher. It's harder to borrow money now, get started on businesses. So, what are some of those economic challenges you see specifically for Black businesses in San Francisco?
Well, they haven't changed. It's still, it's still being qualified to get a loan, making sure that your paperwork is in order. The challenge is if these big companies that hire our small businesses, that they would pay on time and think about that we have mouths to feed and we have communities that we want to be a part of. I think that would be a great start instead of dangling the carrot or bullying certain companies if in fact they speak out because of their mishaps, right? And so that's the start right there. And then also we're trying to make sure that we are making sure that every Black business in the city and county of San Francisco is registered as a local business enterprise. If we lose our voice with those percentages, all of this conversation that I'm having, all of this advocacy that I'm doing, if I'm walking in and we only have 2% Black business out of 100% in the city, then we've lost. So we are working with other organizations to make sure that if you are a Black business in the city and county of San Francisco, you need to be a local business enterprise. That way we can increase our voice. We're also working with organizations, the San Francisco African American Art and Culture District, where they pretty much work with all of the business on the 3rd Street corridor. We have other organizations that we're working with, like I mentioned, San Francisco Black Wall Street. There's a regentrification issue that we're still facing here in the city and county of San Francisco, but there are enough natives who are passionate, who have come back, who have lived other places, who are going to try to make sure that we get our just due. Now, of course, this has been said over and over and over again. I can think of many people who are no longer here who fought the good fight, but with technology, with more of our people going to college and graduating, with more of our people who are world travelers and who have lived abroad, I think this is a great opportunity to try one more time without the crabs in the barrel and all the gatekeepers and all the haters, and let us be where we're supposed to be. We are destined to be great. Our ancestors have said that. The pyramids have said that. So we just need to, I won't even say learn how to work together. I'll just say learn how to work with each other, right? We all have different personalities, but when we wake up every morning, we put our pants on one leg at a time. Right. And so we drink our coffee one sip at a time, or if it's tea. So I think it's really important that we not try to reinvent the wheel, but that we look at, is our house in order as Black businesses? Can I apply for a loan? Are all my paperwork's in order? Can I work with somebody else to get a larger contract? Do I have the certification that I need? How can I go about getting more bonding? Can we have these conversations where they're making special consensus based on how we can be a part of the conversation? We're not asking to be at the table because right now, this generation, which I love, we're bringing our own table. And then we're going to let you can pull your chair up, but we don't have to wait to be invited. There are certain groups that are getting more love than Black business. They always have. And that's because we need to be a united front. So we can have 4 organizations, but when it's time for us to speak up and be bold, then we need to speak up and be bold together.
Well said. You touched upon the arts, and that's actually was one of the questions I was going to ask you because in doing the show, I've had the opportunity to interview some great San Francisco artists like Margot Hall. I've had on the show Ashley Smiley, Mark Harris. The arts in San Francisco, especially for Black arts, is a cultural touchstone. I mean, it's just a long history of excellent cultural opportunities for Black artists, playwrights, performers. So, what role, if any, does the chamber have in ensuring those opportunities continue for Black artists to thrive in San Francisco?
So I'm an artist baby, although I have this position, born and raised in the city, vocalist, so on and so forth. So I know a lot of people in the industry. And so that's one of the things that I've been working really hard about, bringing the art perspective to our membership. We do have one, and he is actually from San Francisco, and you probably need to interview him as well. His name is Malik. He and his wife Karen have a gallery in San Francisco, right outside of Chinatown. They have a storefront, and they have a phenomenal business together. He is from Bayview Hunters Point, and he is a member of the chamber, and we have done work together. We also have is Martin Luther. He's not a member, but he and I used to sing together with
The
the Summer
musician
Mission Choir.
used to play
Yes,
with the
Martin
Roots.
Luther.
Absolutely.
Exactly. He and I
Absolutely.
grew up together. We used to sing together in the same community choir. He's doing a lot in the community still, so he is definitely giving back. So because I have an art background, art is also entrepreneurship, right? We have a
Absolutely.
great talent, Charleston Pierce, who's done great, phenomenal jobs at the Macy's shows and passports. So I've reached out to Macy's, although their store location may or may not be closing in downtown San Francisco. It's like, what have you done for us lately? So Jonathan and I will be having a conversation because I went to the store not too long ago doing Black Business Month. No, doing Black History Month. And I didn't see Black History displays. And so we had a conversation about that. They hadn't been put up yet, but Chinese New Year displays were all over the place. So I sent him another letter. I think it's time to talk. We have Juneteenth, we have Black Business Month, we have a lot of other things that our community can offer. We have consultants, we have people in PR, we have the different things that your store may need. And so if you're only going to be here a couple of more years, let's involve the community more. And outside, once you take care of our community, then open it up to everybody else. But we are always a day late, sometimes, and a dollar short. So again, we're bringing our table in, inviting you to sit down, and we're telling you how we would like to work with you in order to make sure that our history is not erased. This is not Washington, D.C. Our history will not be erased, and we will not receive letters sending us back our artifacts saying that you're no longer needed. We're here.
One of the things that I really admire about you is that you do have that 30-year of experience as being an entrepreneur and you bring this to this role. So my question is, in general, What are some of the lessons you've learned over the years in being in business for as long as you have? And be they painful lessons or not so painful lessons as you reflect back. What are some of the things you've learned, and what could you share with my audience about the entrepreneurial spirit?
First of all, I didn't really see myself being an entrepreneur as well. It all started off when I was in grad school at Washington, D.C., George Washington University. So give it up to my East Coast family and my folks back there. But it's toward the end of us graduating, and everybody was saying they were going to be a consultant. I'm like, consultant for what? And they're like, when you graduate from grad school, that's what we all do. And I'm like, okay, well, what does that look like? And so then I started asking some questions, and I realized that I came from a long line of a lineage of entrepreneurships in my family, not women. Only one woman in my family was an entrepreneur. Everybody else had the big pack bill, AT&T corporate jobs, and the men were going around working in blue collar jobs that actually sustained our family. So I'm very proud to be a blue collar baby. But I wanted more, and I felt that although I was given opportunities, a lot of times I didn't like the rules that I had to play. I did not know that when you become a small business, there's more rules that you have to play outside of working for quote unquote the man. So I would say be determined, be focused, keep have a strong prayer life. Don't share your vision with everybody because they are not there with you. They don't receive it. Hang out with people that are extremely successful. And I'm not saying throw your other friends away, but they had a tendency to motivate me. Make sure you don't take any wooden nickels. Sometimes what sounds too good is too good. Make sure that you have a moral compass. It's not always good to want to be the big player all the time, but if you keep your head down and if you consistently just work hard and you protect your brand because they know if I hire her, the work is going to get done. It's going to be professional, and I don't have to worry about it. Clients do not want to go to sleep at night worrying if you're going to deliver. And so I make sure that I deliver. Sometimes I get less sleep in other times, but it's just important. Being an entrepreneur is not glamorous. So if you have time management skills, getting to your day job, or you have time management skills where you have too much on your plate and you can't study and hold a part-time job down, I would consider becoming an entrepreneur because your passion is not what's going to get you paid. It is you being focused, you being organized, and you having people around you that can help you take classes, do entrepreneurship training, always want to learn, always be in those environments. Instead of taking that money and buying it on a bag, take that money, go to a conference, rebuild your website, do different types of marketing, teach yourself how to do videography, whatever it may take. You can do it, but you have to believe. Keep the noise out. You have to keep the noise out. And so those are some of the things that I'm always telling people. Don't think that this position that I have being president and CEO is glamorous because it is not. I am staff deficient. It is me and one other person who's working part-time and an intern, and I'm doing way too much for this position. But because I've had other skills, you never know what skills that you need to bring regardless of high up the mark you go, from typing, from answering the phone, from being a receptionist, from cleaning the bathrooms, for putting on an apron at an event when somebody doesn't show up. It's not glamorous, but it must be done. And that is what clients remember, and that is how you really get the bag.
Well, Bridget, I know you're very busy. I know you've got a lot on your plate. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me here on the Edric Show. Your enthusiasm and your passion and your vision, it just radiates. And again, let me say congratulations,
Thank you.
because it looks like the San Francisco African American Chamber of Commerce has a bold and visionary leader. So congratulations and thank you for coming on the Edric Show.
Yes, I want to mention two things that
Oh,
we're
of
doing
course.
really quick. So some of the things that I've done in my 100 days, a little bit over 100 days, is we were able to secure a contract with the National Basketball Association doing All-Star Weekend, where we had 30 of our members have a pop-up shop where they were able to share their wares. We're also now doing, for the first time in the San Francisco African American Chamber of Commerce history, we are hosting the Mayor's Juneteenth kickoff with two other organizations on June 13th, and that's with the San Francisco Black Wall Street and also San Francisco NAACP. And then on June 19th, we're having our gala on at the San Francisco City Club, where we're honoring three phenomenal Black women who have not only broken the glass ceiling in corporate America, they have left something for everybody else to want to be. And so, with that being said, we're just really honored to continue to just be the first at many and continue to deliver on our word and our mission and our vision. And so for
Excellent.
any information about the Chamber of Commerce, please visit sfaacc.org. That's San Francisco African American Chamber of Commerce.org.
All right. Brigette LeBlanc, President and CEO of the San Francisco African American Chamber of Commerce. Again, thank you so much for coming on the Edric Show. I appreciate your time and congratulations and good luck on the endeavor that you're on now.
Thank you. We appreciate the time and the just everything that you've done. And thank you for being patient.
Oh, no
And
worries.
look
No
forward to
worries.
seeing the interview.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bridget. I really appreciate it.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. This has been another edition of the Edric Show. I am your host, Edric Jerome. As promised, this is the place for intelligent conversation with interesting people. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell, and you'll get notified when I post content. I want to thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next episode.